Hi students, today I am going to discuss chapter 1 electric charges and fields. Electrostatics is the branch of physics deals with the study of charges at rest. Now, what is meant by charge? Charge means it is an intrinsic property of any fundamental particle so that it can exert electrostatic force between the other fundamental objects. Now, we have already studied there are two types of charges, positive charge and negative charge. Positive charge is actually the charge of proton, whereas negative charge is the charge of electron. And the basic property of charge is that two positive charges or two negative charges repel each other, whereas unlike charges, that means positive and negative, they will attract each other. Now, in this portion, we are going to discuss different methods to charge a body. First method is charging by friction. Second is charging by conduction, and third one charging by induction. Now let us first study what is charging by friction. Frictional electricity is the electricity produced by rubbing two suitable bodies and transfer of electrons from one body to another. In this figure, you are seeing a picture showing a glass rod rubbed with silk, and it is shown that silk has achieved negative charge, whereas glass rod has achieved positive charge. And in the second figure, you are seeing ebonite rubbed with flannel, and there flannel has achieved positive charge, whereas ebonite rod has achieved negative charge. So in these two experiments, what have you studied? We came to know that electrons in glass are loosely bound than electrons in silk. So when glass and silk are rubbed together, comparatively loosely bound electrons from glass get transferred to silk. As a result, you can see glass becomes positively charged and silk becomes negatively charged. Similarly, electrons in flannel are loosely bound than electrons in ebonite. So when ebonite and flannel are rubbed together, the comparatively loosely bound electrons from fur get transferred to ebonite. As a result, ebonite becomes negatively charged and fur becomes positively charged. Now, let me want to coin one word, that is work function. In these two figures, you have studied that in one material, electrons are loosely bound, and in the other material, electrons are tightly bound. So whenever we rub two bodies against each other, electrons are always transferred from a body which is loosely bound to a body which is tightly bound. And based on this, we coin a word named work function. Work function means it is the minimum amount of energy required by an electron to eject from the surface of any body. So the body which is having electrons tightly bound are said to have maximum work function, and the body which are having loosely bound electrons are ought to have lower work function. So when we rub two bodies against each other, electrons will transfer from a body having lower work function to a body having higher work function. Now in this table you can see two columns. So here when glass rod is rubbed with silk, glass rod achieves positive charge, silk achieves negative charge. When wool or flannel rubbed with amber or ebonite, wool or flannel becomes positive charge, amber or ebonite becomes negative charge. Similarly, when ebonite rubbed with polythene, ebonite becomes positive and polythene becomes negative. And similarly, when dry hair is rubbed with comb, dry hair achieves positive charge and comb achieves negative charge. Now we are discussing the properties of charges. The first property is there exist only two types of charges, namely positive and negative charge. Then second one, like charges repel and unlike charges attract. Third one, charge is a scalar quantity. And the fourth point is charge is additive in nature. What is meant by additive nature of charge? See, for example, I am taking this pen. This pen is having different charges, namely 2 coulomb, 5 coulomb, minus 3 coulomb, etc. So the total charge acquired by this pen is given by plus 2, plus 5, minus 3, that is plus 4 coulomb. That is meant by additive nature of charge. Now the next property is charge is quantized, which means electric charge exists in discrete packets rather than in continuous amount. So we can write like this: Q is equal to plus or minus N into E, where N is the integral numbers, that means N is 1, 2, 3, etc. And E is charge of electron or charge of proton, and it is given as E is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Now, the next property, charge is conserved, which means that the total charge of an isolated system is always constant. Charge can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transferred from one body to another. So the algebraic sum of positive and negative charge in an isolated system remains constant. Now, during the transfer of charge by friction, there will be transfer of mass also, because we already know, similar to electron is having a charge which is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Similarly, electron is having mass also. Mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kilogram. So when we rub two bodies against each other, I already told electron will transfer from one body to another body. The body that gains electrons becomes negative charge, and that body will gain the mass. And the body which loses electrons becomes negatively charged, and that body will lose mass. So negatively charged body gains the mass, and positively charged body loses the mass. We can use the same equation as we did here. Here I wrote Q is equal to N into E. Similarly, to find the mass transferred, I can write capital M, that is total mass, is N into small letter m. Here capital M means total mass, N is 1, 2, 3, etc. and M is mass of electron. So mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. So you can put this value here, and how many electrons are transferred. By using this equation, you will get the total mass transfer also. Now, the second method The second method of charging is charging by conduction. Charging by conduction takes place only with metals. We already know metals are good conductors of electricity. So when we touch two metals, say for example, this is one metal, this is another metal, and when we touch two metals, charge will transfer from one metal to the other till both of them attain equal charge. See, for example, I take two spheres. This sphere is having a charge of plus 10 coulomb, and I take another sphere which is having a charge of minus 4 coulomb. So when we touch these two metal spheres, what will happen? Here this is plus 10 coulomb and this is minus 4 coulomb. So 10 minus 4, that is 6 coulomb. 6 coulomb is the total charge. And that 6 coulomb is equally shared between two bodies. So these two bodies after touching will acquire a charge of plus 3 coulomb and plus 3 coulomb. So this is what I told. The charge will transfer till both of the bodies attain same charge. And this type of charging by conduction is applicable only to metals. Now the third method of charging is charging by induction. In charging by induction, we no need to touch two bodies against each other. We only have to bring a charged body closer to an uncharged body. So when we bring a charged body closer to an uncharged body, the uncharged body gets oppositely charged. That is called charging by induction. I will explain charging by induction with the help of a figure. This is example 1.1 from your NCERT textbook. There it is told that how can you charge a metal sphere positively without touching it? We can charge a metal sphere positively without touching it by induction. See, first you take a metal sphere and keep it on the insulating stand so that no discharge of charge will take place. Then charge an ebonite rod or a plastic rod. Ebonite and plastic will be charged negatively. So bring that negatively charged ebonite rod closer to this sphere. And since the rod is negatively charged, all the free electrons in this metal will be repelled and move towards the right hand side, thereby creating a positive charge on the left hand side of the sphere. Now what you have to do is just take a wire and connect the right hand side of the sphere to the ground. Since these electrons are already repelled and reach the right hand side, those electrons will be grounded. Now you can see the sphere is only having positively charged. Next step is remove that ground wire. So sphere is only having positively charged, and the last step, remove this plastic rod. So when you remove the plastic rod, the charges which were acquired on the left side will be uniformly distributed throughout the metal. As a result, the metal is positively charged throughout. Now, in this method of charging, you can see that no charge has lost in this plastic rod. The charge of the plastic rod remains same. There is no loss of charge. But the metal sphere, which was initially uncharged, got the same amount of charge as that of the plastic rod. What I mean is, suppose initially this plastic rod has minus 5 coulomb. So after charging by induction, this metal sphere will acquire plus 5 coulomb, and minus 5 coulomb remains as such without any loss. So with these three types of charging, you can see that induction is the best method of charging, because when we charge a body using this technique, you can charge any number of spheres, any number of bodies by using a single charged rod without losing its initial charge. So out of these three methods, that means charging by friction, charging by conduction and charging by induction, we can say induction is the best method of charging. Now there are certain practical applications also based on this charging. You have noticed that vehicles carrying inflammable particles, usually they have metallic chains touching the ground, and when the vehicle move along the road, you can see the chains will touch the road. Why they are hanging those chains? It is because when the vehicle travel along the road, due to the friction between the tire and the road, static charges will be developed. Number two, there is a friction between air and the metal body of the vehicle. Again, due to that friction, static charges will be developed. So, due to these two techniques, the static charges are getting acquired on the metal body. If it is not earthed, there is a chance of increasing the potential, thereby the vehicle will explode. So, to make the electric discharge, that means to discharge all the electric charges to the ground, metallic chains are hung. Similarly, you can see in aeroplanes, the tires are not made up of perfect rubber. Some materials are also added to this rubber to make it slightly conducting. And when the rubbers are conducting, when the plane touches the ground, the static charges which has occurred by the plane while it was traveling along the clouds, through the clouds, so all those static charges will be discharged. And as a result, the plane is safe for landing. Now, one more thing, electrostatic experiments cannot be performed in moist atmosphere, because if the atmosphere is moist, the moist air will be conducting, slightly conducting. So it will cause the discharge of electric charges. So electrostatic experiments cannot be performed in moist climate. Thank you.